Okay, it's Orlando Wilson here. What I want to talk about in this video is something I bumped into recently, something I'm dealing with. And this involves a robbery of, how can we put it, high value assets. And there's various lessons from this issue that everybody can take into account. But the issues, again, it's back down to the basics were skipped. Long story short, a gentleman was robbed and he's in the high value asset business, shall we say. All legal, all above board. What happened? Of course, he was robbed. And there's various failures here on his part, especially. But this is another one where the gentleman didn't think he was ever going to have any problems, and he had a problem. He's very much in denial that things would ever happen to him, and it happened. To start off with, threat assessments. There was never a threat assessment done. Why? It wasn't needed. The gentleman knew he was possibly under risk due to his business, but he took minimal security precautions. Yes, he had a security company. He used a legally armed driver when moving certain assets. He had security at his showroom, unarmed security, etc. Reputable company. But a lot of things were missed. He owned a firearm which stayed in his safe due to safety reasons. But again, a firearm wouldn't have done anything for him. It might have protected him. But again, in the country he's in, if he used that firearm, he's going to have big problems. So really, it's good he didn't have a firearm on him, because even though he knows how to use it, he has a permit, I wouldn't say he's that skilled in the use of firearms. Anyway, he was robbed. No threat assessments was done. And they were only looking at the aspects of the physical security. Was there ever any counter surveillance done? None. Was there ever any control of social media? Nothing. And the funny thing is, at the time of the robbery, the robbers, again, knew where he was, knew what he was doing, knew he had assets with him. And they showed him, just to enforce things, on their cell phones. They had pictures and video of his family. And we don't think that they came from social media. So possibly not only was he being watched, but also his family was being watched, which means they knew where he lived, etc., etc. So this is where, if you're possibly dealing with clients that could be targeted by, let's say, high-end criminals, then you need to be aware of all aspects. You need to be aware of all, how can I put it? Not only are you providing physical security, but you also need to make sure, again, back down to counter surveillance, but also making sure the client, their family, is not putting too much information on social media. That can be difficult, especially when the client has teenage children. But you know what? The police are involved in this. They're going to do their job. Will the assets ever be recovered? Who knows? They're gone. But this was a wake-up call for the client that, okay, it's more to security than just having a firearm in the safe and hiring a security company. When you're dealing with a lot of clients, and a lot of clients, due to their lifestyle, etc., they don't want security with them 24/7. It's expensive, it's intrusive, etc. But again, this is where I'm big on clients must be educated to the risks and how to counter the risks. And again, it's back down to, a lot of people think we'll hire a security company and our problems are solved. Well, you know what? As always, could the security company be part of the problem? Could the security company be telling the criminals, okay, this is where the guy lives, this is when he's moving assets, this is what they've got, this is where it's stored, this is his family, etc.? Who knows? That's down to the investigation to go on. But again, the security company at the showroom, and even the security guys that's moving the assets, you know what? They were regular guys. They're not really a reputable security company. But it's back down to the people being paid to work at the showroom are not being paid that much. The people being paid to move the assets were not being paid that much. And when I look at things like that, it's always, okay, if somebody's making not great money, they're open to bribery, corruption, etc. especially it's back down to you got security guys and girls working in locations looking after millions and millions of dollars worth of assets, but they're making pennies themselves. Yes, even though the security guys and girls are licensed, it doesn't mean they're 100% reliable. I'll leave that there. That's for another video. But again, this one was a wake-up call for this client because, again, it's never going to happen to them until it happened. He was shocked when it happened because he was intercepted, robbed, and there were firearms shown. Were they real or not? Who knows? And again, for him, especially when they started showing him video and pictures of his family, this is when he realized the risk was not just on him, and that frightened the shit out of him, to be honest. Anyway, just a little story, and it's back down to, again, always basics: counter surveillance, threat assessments, and these days minding what you put on social media. So hopefully this will give you something to think about. In the meantime, follow me along on social media. There's more of these videos going up. And again, array of books on Amazon to do with various aspects of security business. And follow us along because we have a lot more info on the blog, so we'll be putting up a lot more information in the near future. But as always, if you do, all security programs depend on the basics. And the basics for me these days is counter surveillance, awareness, planning, and preparation. And if you think, or if your clients think nothing will ever happen to them, well, that's the victim mentality, and the chances are something will happen at some point. So if you're not prepared for it, you're going to have even bigger problems. But in the meantime, be good, stay safe, stay out of trouble, and always make sure you're not being watched and followed. Yeah?